Hello and welcome back to Read Becca. I utterly failed my past 2 months TBR, so I'm very slowly still working through those books. I do intend to read them, but does that stop me from making another new TBR? No, it does not. Not at all. So I'm gonna make another TBR here, and we will see how well I do. I have been missing out on thrillers. I used to have a little more balance in my reading, and lately it's just been going all one direction every time. So we're gonna make an all thrillers TBR for October. I'm gonna lean into that spooky season. I definitely don't like outright horror for the most part. I tend to like more psychological horror and thrillers because I'm not into the terrible gory stuff. So that is definitely my jam. So we're gonna do it because I have quite a few that have been on my radar for months now, recent releases for the most part, and I am really looking forward to all of these books. A thriller for the most part is a pretty quick read, so I think most of these tend to be, a weekend read, hopefully, which means I should be able to get a lot of other stuff read as well this month. But we will see. There's some chunkers in here. So the first one that I picked up is a really new, really hot release. So I have a hold on it. And it looks like I'll probably get it in about 2 weeks. So toward the end of the month, but I'm not overly worried about that. I think it will come in. It's moving pretty quickly. So I've got The Turnout by Megan Abbott. And this is kind of a Black Swan-esque ballet thriller, I believe. So let's read what it's about. Ballet flows through their veins. Dara and Marie Durant were dancers since birth, with their long necks and matching buns, and pink tights, homeschooled and trained by their mother. Decades later, the Durant School of Dance is theirs. The two sisters, together with Charlie, Dara's husband, and once their mother's prize student, inherited the school after their parents died in a tragic accident nearly a dozen years ago. Marie, warm and soft, teaches the younger students. Dara, with her precision, trains the older ones. And Charlie, backbroken after years of injuries, rules over the back offices. Circling around each other, the three have perfected a dance 6 days a week that keeps the studio thriving. But when a suspicious accident occurs just at the onset of the school's annual performance of the Nutcracker, a season of competition, anxiety, and exhilaration, an interloper arrives and threatens the delicate balance of everything they've worked for. So that one sounds great. I love anything ballet, but especially these kind of dark ballet type thrillers, so that'll be my jam. So next I have a bunch of physical books that I got from the library. So the first one I have here is The Lost Village by Camilla Sten, and this is translated by Alexandra Fleming. And this was kind of on my radar. I recognized the cover, but it really popped out as something I wanted to pick up because AJ Dunn, Reads and Writes, talked about this on a video all about 7 recent thrillers that were really interesting. So I picked it up because of that video, so I will link that down below. But this is all about documentary filmmaker Alice Lindstedt has been obsessed with vanishing residents of an old mining town dubbed the Lost Village. Since she was a little girl in 1959, her grandmother's entire family disappeared in the mysterious tragedy, and ever since, the unanswered questions surrounding the only two people who were left, a woman stoned to death in the town center and an abandoned newborn, have plagued her. She's gathered a small crew of friends in the remote village to make a film about what really happened, but there will be no turning back. Not long after they've set up camp, strange things begin to happen. Equipment is destroyed. People go missing. As doubt breeds fear and their minds begin to crack, one thing becomes startlingly clear to Alice. They are not alone. They're looking for the truth, but what if it finds them first? Come find out. So then the next one that I have up was kind of a double recommendation. So it was also featured in that same video from AJ Dunn, and I as well saw this in the TBR and the wrap-up for the past month from Craig over at Shelf Possessed, and that really put it at the forefront of my mind of what I wanted to pick up. So this is The Book of Accidents by Chuck Wendig. I've read, I think, 3, maybe more books by Chuck Wendig before and really enjoyed all of them. I even made it through the first Atlanta Burns book, which should totally not be my thing because it's all about dogfighting in pretty graphic detail. And I really enjoyed the way he handled it though, and managed to push through the whole book. So I know this author and have really enjoyed his work before, so I think I'm going to enjoy this one, even though it is a little bit chunky. So I think I'm going to fly through because his writing really, really flows well. So I'm looking forward to this one. So the premise of this is, long ago, Nathan lived in a house in the country with his abusive father and has never told his family what happened there. Long ago, Maddie was a little girl making dolls in her bedroom when she saw something she shouldn't have, and is trying to remember that lost trauma by making haunting sculptures. Long ago, something sinister, something hungry, walked in the tunnels and the mountains and the coal mines of rural Pennsylvania. Now, Nate and Maddie Graves are married, and they have moved back to their hometown with their son Oliver. And now what happened long ago is happening again, and it's happening to Oliver. He meets a strange boy who becomes his best friend, a boy with secrets of his own and a taste for dark magic. This dark magic puts them at the heart of a battle of good versus evil, and a fight for the soul of the family, and perhaps for all of the world. But their Graves family has a secret weapon in this battle, their love for one another. So that should be a good one. I'm really looking forward to it. And then the next one does, I think, cross over more into horror. So I have T. Kingfisher's The Twisted Ones. And I have wanted to pick this up really since it came out. Kingfisher is an author that I absolutely adore for fantasy and children's fiction as well, under the name Ursula Vernon. I've read a ton of stuff by T. Kingfisher, but I have always been a little wary of the horror. I've heard this does stick with her style that's very kind of cozy. So cozy horror is odd, but I think she has a great sense of humor as well that I think does continue in here. So we'll see how that goes. This one, the synopsis here is, when Mouse's dad asks her to clean out her dead grandmother's house, she says yes. After all, how bad could it be? Answer, pretty bad. Grandma was a hoarder, and her house is packed to the gills with useless garbage. That would be horrors enough, but there's more. Mouse stumbles across her step-grandfather's journal, which at first seems to be the ravings of a broken mind, until she encounters some of the terrifying things he described herself. Alone in the woods with her dog, Mouse has to confront a series of impossible terrors, because sometimes the things that go bump in the night are real, and they're looking for you. And if she doesn't face them head-on, she might not survive to tell the tale. So, I'm going in wary, but I think I trust T. Kingfisher enough to go into this horror journey with her. So, other than that, you may have noticed one similarity that I didn't even notice until I was sitting down to put this together. So, they all have spooky house covers. Ironically, that happens to be something I mentioned in yet another video from AJ Dunn. The video was all about cover trends in thrillers, and I commented that the spooky houses are something I like. Well, apparently I'm drawn to that because I happen to pick up all books with spooky houses. So yeah, I clearly have a style. So that is my October TBR. Are you leaning into the spook side of October, or are you going for the cozy fall reads on your TBR? I would love to hear what you've got coming up. Thanks so much for watching.